water. Something I think a lot of us take for granted. Not only is access to clean water a huge problem globally, but it's still a problem in our very own country, which is really sad if you ask me. Drinking unsafe water has been linked to cancer, cholera, dysentery, typhoid, polio, and much, much more. And according to the World Health Organization 2019, an estimated 485,000 diarrheal deaths occurred each year, which we should all care about. In this speech, I'm going to tell you about our national issues with clean water, about the global clean water crisis, and then I'm going to offer you some possible solutions on a national, global, and personal level, along with a picture of how the future could look. We've all heard about the water crisis in Flint. According to Keck School of Medicine 2020, the crisis began in 2014 when Flint began to get their so-called potable water from the Flint River. Complaints about smell and taste began to flood in almost immediately, but the government assured everyone that it was safe. Over the next year, complaints continued, with even more serious claims such as rashes and hair loss. The state even identified a 3-month spike of lead in the water that they claimed was a seasonal anomaly. Even after a pediatrician reported elevated lead levels in children's blood, the government still kept their heads stuck in the sand. In 2016, it was finally declared a public emergency, but it's still taken years to rectify. According to a PBS 2019 article, the EPA finally declared the water in Flint safe to drink again in June of that very year, more than 5 years since the ordeal began. Though there are some contesting the validity of that claim to this day. Flint isn't the only place in the U.S. that has struggled for clean drinking water. According to a U.S. Today 2017 article, more than 63 million Americans were exposed to unsafe drinking water in the past decade, and on average, it takes more than 2 years to fix such issues after discovery. A ScienceMag.org 2018 article claims that in any given year, from 1982 to 2015, anywhere from 9 million to 45 million Americans were getting their drinking water from a source that was in violation of the Safe Water Drinking Act. Those most at risk being in rural, low-income areas. You can see a breakdown of the frequency of these violations separated by county on this map, which there's a link to. According to the World Health Organization, 3 in 10 people, or about 2.1 billion people worldwide, lack safe drinking water at home. And according to WaterAid.org, 844 million people can't even access safe drinking water within a half-an-hour round trip. The highest percentages of people come from Papua New Guinea, Uganda, Niger, Mozambique, India, and Pakistan. According to World Health Organization 2019, in 2017 alone, 220 million people had to be treated for schistosomiasis, a disease caused by parasitic worms contracted through exposure to contaminated water. Just another thing to add to the laundry list of other illnesses that can be caused or spread by unsafe water, several of which I listed at the beginning of this speech. So, let's talk about what we can do as a nation to combat our unsafe water problems. The biggest thing we can do to help fix this issue is to replace outdated infrastructure and filtration systems. A large part of the contaminants in our water come from old corroded piping with unsafe buildup of heavy metals and other things. This sounds expensive, but it's not something that has to be paid for all at once, and what isn't covered by our current taxes can be split among many users over a period of many years with just a slight increase in their bill. The next thing that we can do is push our governments to make and enforce legislation surrounding access to and maintenance of clean water systems. The Safer Water Act should cover all of this, but as you can see from earlier in this speech, this simply is not the case. So we must hold our local and state governments responsible for keeping us safe and stay on top of them so that they will stay on top of this important issue. Globally, there are a few options for making clean water more accessible. Water.org 2020 posits that the main barrier is money, and that setting out to provide affordable financing to those in need and has set out to provide affordable financing to those in need around the globe. They're right that money is certainly an issue, but many people aren't even going to have access to any means of financing. So what else can we do? Life straws are an amazing portable option which can be donated for individuals to clean whatever water is available to them. And according to Life Straw 2020, each straw has an unlimited shelf life and can provide clean drinking water to an individual for more than 5 years. Of course, this assumes that there is any water to begin with. According to Science Mag 2017, a device has been created that can extract water straight from the air around us. And though technology has been able to do that for a while in humid air, this device is able to collect up to 3 liters of water in even low humidity. So funding more research like this is certainly a good move to help us with this crisis. Now, let's move on to what you and I can do on a personal level to help be part of the solution. First off, you can donate or volunteer to one of the following organizations that work to fight this problem daily: Generosity.org, Pure Water for the World, Blood::Water, Water for Good, or Hope of Life International. Second, if you are scientifically inclined, you can get involved with research projects geared towards coming up with new ways of collecting and or filtering water, or even come up with your own new idea to work on. It's not unheard of for even children to make breakthroughs in technology to help revolutionize care for the underprivileged world around them. If we all work together on this, we will see a brighter future with less death and disease and a greater quality of life for everyone. Even those who already have access to clean water may benefit from the people who now have more time to devote to making the world better in other ways, now that they don't have to devote so much energy to collecting necessary resources. Or we could all say screw it, and every man for themselves, and continue to see problems with illness and disease, and continue to let people, including hundreds of thousands of children, die each year because of an issue we are very capable of fixing. So let's take this information and use it to teach each and every one of us, or it's up to each and every one of us to do our part in making the world a better place. I've now outlined for you both the national and global water crisis we face, offered national, global, and personal solutions that should be acted upon, and painted a picture of why you as an individual should care. Please, take this to heart. Think of what it could be like to not have clean water. Think of those billions who don't. And most of all, think of the children and our future as a species. Thank you.